What's up, everyone? Jacob Rothenberg here. Going to talk today about the top self-publishing mistakes with keywords. We're going to go over mistakes that happen with beginners, intermediates, and even the advanced, myself included. Probably my biggest self-publishing mistake thus far in my 2-year span almost of doing this. So without further ado, let's go on and hit it right now. So top mistakes, the top 4 mistakes I see with I think 100% of the population have committed at least one of these mistakes. Everyone has done it. It's part of the process. And gaining awareness of where you might be in the spectrum of what mistakes you're making now or what you haven't even considered yet or you haven't experienced yet. Now you'll see what's to come with your business as you advance and evolve with it. So, the top 4 mistakes. Publishing a keyword without any validation whatsoever. Just like throw it out there. Just publish the book for it because you think it's awesome. Number 2, ignoring competition. How often do I hear about students and people from other courses publishing books that have competitors with over 1,000 reviews, 2,000 reviews that are known people in the world? I hear it a lot. Number 3, ignoring the quality of their product. Again, students who want to compete against 200-page books with a 40-page book, no bueno. It's not going to work out. It's not going to make any sales whatsoever. Number 4, what I am guilty of up until recently, and I think most self-publishers that have been doing this for a while are all guilty of this, with the exception of very few who have really thought this out. Lack of an outlook with a long-term strategy for their business. So let's go over each of these one by one, and we'll break it down. So, no validation. You choose to publish a keyword without doing any or very little research. So, this is something that will happen if it's essentially like your first time ever publishing a book. Maybe you haven't even joined a course yet. Maybe you're just interested about Kindle publishing, and you're like, well, I really love snorkeling, or I really love zebras. So because I just have this burning, fiery passion about zebras and seeing them at the zoo, I'm going to publish a children's book about zebras without doing the research necessary to evaluate whether zebras are a profitable keyword or not. Now, they might be a very profitable keyword. You might get lucky without doing your research, but you want to do your homework of, okay, is this profitable? Does this keyword actually make sales on Amazon for books? Is there a lot of competition on it? How hard do I have to put effort into for getting this book to be of quality? Like, how much will I have to ultimately spend in like content or page length so that I can like be at the top caliber for the competitors I'm facing up against? Lots of things to consider. And number 2 and number 3 kind of rehash what I say here on the slide. So again, you think it's a good idea, or you're interested in publishing a book for a popular niche because you know it's profitable. So like I see so many examples of this, whether it's like essential oils, weight loss books, books on the ketogenic diet. Yeah, it's very profitable and it's very popular, but there's other factors you're not considering when you're publishing for those kinds of books. You're not validating, is this actually going to make me money? So that's something you have to learn throughout the process, with either making mistakes and learning from them, or buying a course and figuring out from the course, okay, what criteria do I need to follow, or what should I do, what should I not do? What are some best practices I can use to guide me towards finding a profitable keyword? And so realize again, especially if you're brand new, you will get lucky sometimes, and you will get really unlucky the other times with publishing a book based on your passion. I started out in Kindle publishing not as a publisher, but as an author for powerlifting books, because I compete in powerlifting. I've done it for, 9.5 years now. I should actually be better at it. But I've authored a couple books on powerlifting. Lo and behold, despite powerlifting not being a super profitable keyword, it at least got me to start making money on Amazon, and it made me enough money to where I could see, okay, there's potential with this Kindle publishing thing. So I got lucky with publishing a book on my passion, writing and publishing rather. You might not get lucky and you might get discouraged, which I don't want for you. So it's better off you do your validation for why a keyword is profitable or not. Number 2, which kind of goes into validation for your keyword. So this is now something that most beginner publishers do, is that they completely or mostly ignore competition that's for keywords they're looking at, and they end up publishing a book without considering who has already published for your keyword. Now, this will especially get you in diet or self-help, maybe even business. But, if you're publishing a book on self-help, do you want to compete against Tony Robbins? If you're going to be publishing a book about financial responsibility, do you want Dave Ramsey to be coming up for your keyword? Like, you can't ignore competitors like those who are such worldwide known authorities for their respective fields, and for the keywords they'll show up on Amazon. So realize, if they're in your keyword, you have no chance of selling, or very, 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 very little chance of selling whatsoever long-term on Amazon. You might make a couple sales the first 30 days. Maybe you run ads on Amazon. But over the long term, I don't think you'll be profitable doing it. It's just not going to work. It's not practical. So just because a keyword is highly profitable doesn't mean you'll make money. You still have to be able to contend with competitors you're up against and consider, okay, this keyword is profitable, it's killing the game. Now, because maybe these authority figures aren't in there, but there's still a couple self-publishers that are like doing well. They have like 40 or 50 reviews for their book. How do I gain visibility so that I can make money for this keyword? And moreover, with the books that are already currently out, if I were to publish a book, why would someone buy my book over what's already published for this keyword? Okay, so that's for something you need to figure out on your end. Exactly, why should someone buy your book over everyone else that's already published? Do you want to be the 50th guide on CBD oil? Do you really want to be the 50th guide? No. I tried that earlier this year, back when I was still not fully aware of what mistakes I was making. And even though I knew how to make money, I was still making that mistake, and it's a loss still at this point for publishing the 50th or 1000th guide on CBD oil. Not cool. Now, this is again probably the most common mistake that publishers make. And I'm talking about after learning how to do Kindle publishing. So is that they ignore the quality of their product. They go to eWriter. I'm like totally bashing eWriter Solutions right now. They go through eWriter Solutions. Their content sucks. They didn't go to the Urban Writers. They didn't use Elite as a coupon code for 5% off on the urbanwriters.com. Their page link is lacking. And this is probably the most common one, is that self-publishers' covers, you can always tell who self-publishes their books just by their cover, because it always looks like a stock image that was taken from Google, and then they hired someone to Photoshop maybe a border or some font around it for in 30 seconds, and that's how they slapped on a $5 cover. So it makes such a big difference to hire someone who maybe doesn't just work with stock images, but has some artwork, or maybe you provide the artwork for your cover, and they put the effort to make a unique design. And because you spent $20 on it instead of $5, you're going to have a better cover. And guess what? Even though you had to pay $15 more for that cover, the amount of ROI you're going to get from having a better cover is way beyond the $15, okay? So put some effort. So overall, take the time to ensure you're putting quality into your work. Again, you got to find reasons why a customer would want to buy your book over theirs. And it might not just be the quality or the content. It might also be the value proposition, the hook, the twist. Like, again, figure out why a customer would want to buy your product over theirs. If you can't answer that, your book won't sell as well as it could have. Now, I'm kind of rushing through the slides as it's getting to be 10 minutes in. Don't want to make this too long, but this one's probably the mistake that you will not yet understand unless you are experienced with publishing. Because the lack of an outlook for a long-term strategy for the business is not something you can figure out immediately once you're starting out with Kindle publishing. This is not going to make sense yet. But hear this. Nearly everyone involved with self-publishing for over a year commits this oversight, this mistake. So you could be like me. I'll use myself as an example because I am guilty of this, and this is something that I've been reversing since the past couple months, is that I am probably the best Kindle publisher you can find on YouTube for the shotgun approach, for the run and gun, for finding a hot, trendy keyword, publish a book for like $150 to $200, and then make $4,000, $5,000, even $10,000 off of that one book. I think my record right now is with one book that I paid $200 to publish. Maybe it's at around $13,000 right now. But yeah, I am the best publisher you can find on shotgun, on the shotgun approach on YouTube. I will say it right now. Ask anyone else in the authority, like, who's the best at yo-yo tricks? Who's the best at publishing books short term and making the most money from them? They're going to say it's Jacob Rothenberg. Okay, but while that's all fine and dandy, you know, just because I make $4,000 off of yo-yo tricks in December does not mean that I'll make $4,000 off of the same book in March. So I've had this problem, and I believe I've been pretty open about it, is that my earnings fluctuate. They go down, they go way up, and then they go down again. So what I've had to do now is look at the big picture for my business and say, hey, if I want to do this full time and no longer as just a hobby, but actually make a full-time living doing this, I need to change my strategy about not just what I publish for, but even what keywords that I research for and the criteria I use to decide should I publish for this book. So what I do now is I focus on more long-term plays, more evergreen niches where I can still make good money. Don't get me wrong, the money's still good, but now these are going to be in keywords and niches that will last at least in what I've done for my research, at least 2 or 3 years. Okay, like I might have to republish a book or come up with another title at some point for those keywords, but it should be a book that lasts a while or longer than whatever I've done prior with all these toys and tech stuff. So that's my strategy right now, because you'll find that earnings will stagnate or they'll even decrease over time. I've seen this with even good publishers who've made it as high as 2,000. They've gone as low as 200 per month, 300 per month, just because they didn't have clarity or direction like where this business will go. Because let me tell you, once you publish 30 books, in a year, you get tired. You're like, shit, I think I want to take a break from publishing or from producing books. So they end up taking that month-long, 5-month-long even break, and their earnings do drop down drastically from, like I said, 2,000 to literally, from what I've seen, as little as 200 or 300 a month. It's kind of depressing, actually. So you need to have an outlook of how the business will run and how you approach keywords, how you approach automating it, how you approach getting your books marketed without your constant involvement, and how it can run sustainably in the long term. Because if you don't do this, and this is the truth, is that interest in publishing dies out within at least a year, if not sooner, because I see either people don't reach the success to the degree that they want. Like I see people who make maybe 500 a month, 1,000 in a month, and then they kind of just disappear, or I don't hear back from them. And that's kind of depressing because I was getting to know them. They were reaching success. They've tasted some of it, but they weren't able to scale up, or they just didn't choose to scale up. Or also what I see, and this is perfectly fine if you're over 10K, but people move on to other opportunities too soon. Like if you're making 2,000 or 3,000 a month from Kindle publishing, you have the knowledge to scale up to where you're making 5,000 or more, or even like 10,000 or more a month. You just got to like literally scale up and repeat what you've been doing all along, more or less. And they end up looking at other opportunities like FBA, Shopify, MLMs, and what have you. So again, I'm not really giving solutions as to how to come up with an outlook for a long-term strategy, but I'll tell you the core piece is the keywords that you choose to publish for. That'll help you a long way with finding keywords that can last you hopefully years to where they can make you money long-term, and they are out there. Yes, you do have to continue publishing to make money. That will not change, but you'd rather have your earnings drop from $9,000 a month to, let's say, $8,000 the next month than from going from $4,000 in 1 month to $1,000 the next month, which is what can happen when you're in short-term trends. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think about this one. Leave me a comment below, like, subscribe. Remember, Revelavi launching Friday, October 26th, 5 p.m. in the West, 8 p.m. in the East, launching at the 24-hour special of $197. I am purposely underpricing this course so that there's no fucking excuse that you can't purchase it. It is going to blow your mind. The Triforce section of this course is going to shatter you. It'll be over your head. You're going to have to rewatch the lessons. You'll be like, I didn't know Kindle publishing could be chess instead of checkers. Like, this is some next level shit. Like, it'll blow your mind. But that'll come. I'll have a video detailing exactly everything that's included with the course on Friday morning. So until then, guys, I got to finish doing the course. I should have it finished tonight. Then I'll do a run-through through it and have a couple students who work with me one-on-one. I'll give them, because they coach with me one-on-one, they get their free copies and they get to do a run-through through the course. So until then, guys, I got more work to do. See you later.